To the untrained eye, such as mine, when it comes to peated whiskey, this whiskey, with a base of Laphroaig blended with some Speyside and Highland Scotch that I love, should be a gateway into peated whiskey.
Enchanté.
Evening, lads. This week we're talking about whiskey, specifically peated whiskey, the proper stuff. Now, if you're not aware what peated whiskey is compared to just regular old whiskey, you're not alone. I too was oblivious to this information. So about 10 years ago, when I started this whiskey escapade of mine, I had tried a fair few whiskies. I tried like a lot of Irish, a lot of Scottish staples like Johnny Walker, Glenfiddich, all this, like the real proper staple ones you've all probably heard of. But what I hadn't tried was a peated Scotch whiskey. And I had heard that the best one to try was Laphroaig. Armed with what I thought was a worldview of whiskey, I headed out one night. So when I strolled steadfast into a whiskey bar, I was met by a dapper looking bartender. I asked for a Laphroaig neat. He looked at me with an expression that said, bold move. Nevertheless, he poured me this alluring whiskey of peated goodness I'd heard so much about, and off I went and tried my first real peated whiskey in solitude. Upon my first sip of that smoky, earthy, deeply complex drink, I realized I simply was not ready for this dram. I had a lot of learning to do. Now, fast forward 10 years, and I have tried even more whiskey. I've fallen in love with Irish. I was going to die on the hill that is Irish whiskey enthusiast. I absolutely love Irish. If you don't like Irish whiskey, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're done. I've tried a vast variety of Australian whiskies. I've even worked with one, Lime Burners, over in Western Australia. Absolutely amazing whiskey. Yet in this 10 years, I had never returned to peated whiskey. So what is it, this peat, this stuff that they use to give their Scotch whiskey this distinct taste that people covet, the thing that they look for? For lack of a better term, peat is a bog. It's mud. It's decayed matter that has been left devoid of oxygen in a field for up to 300 years plus. It's actually protected in some areas because of global warming. It assists with it. It has this firm, sort of muddy texture. Now, when it's harvested, they make it into little bricks. Imagine house bricks. And they worked out that it burns at incredibly high temperatures. And for this reason, it's an excellent fuel source. Some of these Scotch distilleries use it in whiskey production. Now, because of this, it imparts a really bold taste to the whiskey. And it's not for everyone. This is how Johnny McCormack describes peat on the Whiskey Advocate. Iodine, coal, tar, asphalt, bacon fat brine, tarry rope, soot, campfire ash, seaweed. These are some of the signature flavors of peated whiskey. It's hard to tell if we should drink it or use it to seal a leaky roof. Peated whiskeys have an edgy reputation for being boisterous, pungent, antagonistic drinks. They invite you to take a slug at the end of an ocean pier, stretch out your arms, and let out a visceral, primal howl. That is how one of the leading whiskey reviewers describes peated whiskey. It's not just me. These peated whiskeys are not for the faint at heart. Now, despite this glowing review, Laphroaig, in my opinion, from what I've read, is the GOAT. From what I understand, some people even travel to the Laphroaig distillery and grab pebbles off the beach, take them home, chill them, and use them as whiskey cubes to give an even more Laphroaig-ness to their whiskey. Now, I had planned a return straight back to Laphroaig. For this video, I was just going to buy a bottle of Laphroaig and see if my palate had matured enough over the last 10 years to enjoy this stuff. But then I came across Islay Mist, and it has a really unique story, and I'm here for it. So the year is 1927, and the Laird of Islay, son, is coming of age, and they're throwing a party. To celebrate the occasion, he entrusted the then owner of Laphroaig Distillery to create a dram that had the character of Laphroaig but wasn't as aggressive on the palate. Englishmen from all over were embarking to come for the celebration. They traversed the ocean, headed for the island of Islay, drawn by the allure of a new whiskey. Upon arrival, the dram was complete. They sat down to taste this new and daring blended whiskey, and they knew the lads had done it. They'd made the Islay Mist. So as you've just seen, in that incredibly accurate historical recreation of exactly what happened, to the untrained eye, such as mine, when it comes to peated whiskey, this whiskey, with a base of Laphroaig blended with some Speyside and Highland Scotch that I love, should be a gateway into peated whiskey. All right, so with all that said, let's get into it. This is the Islay Mist, aged 10 years. It bears the insignia of the Laird of Islay's house. It's also, off the top of my head, the only whiskey to bear the name Islay for the island. There are a few distilleries on the island, and that's the only one that's got the name Islay. Oh yeah, that's peated. Like, that takes me straight back to that night I was telling you about. So they say on the nose you get wood shavings, tobacco, and fragrant peat. Yeah, I'm getting that. It's almost like it smells a bit caramelly, to be honest. That's definitely, it's peated, but it sounds like it smells approachable, if that makes sense. Like, this smells good. I have high hopes for this. I really hope I've progressed enough to enjoy this stuff. Let's get into it. Man, this smells good. This smells really, really good. Oh, that's class. That is class. Oh, that's top shelf. That's top shelf, that. Well done. The boys have done it. What'd they say? Dried fruits and walnuts and sweet peat. 100%. That is actually really good. I rate that. I rate that hard. That is absolutely phenomenal. I am getting, it's kind of sweet. It's definitely, like, it's got that peaty sort of wood taste to it. And you can definitely tell it's peated, but it's very, very subtle. I really like Speyburn, one of the Speyside scotches. And this definitely has that kind of taste to it. Really nice, really approachable. That is mint. So good. And it doesn't have a bad aftertaste or anything like that. I'm gonna have to get more of their whiskey. The last thing I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do it for this video because I feel like this could be getting on, but I have this book here. Highly recommend getting something like this. My father got this for me when he was in Scotland, and it's filled with reviews. Like, every whiskey that I try, I'll review it in this book. I will go into it in another video, but it's definitely going in this book, and I highly recommend this whiskey. I definitely think after trying this, I'm gonna go back to Laphroaig, because if that's a base of Laphroaig, I need to try it, the authentic, the real stuff. But that is nice. That is probably one of the nicest scotches I've ever had. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you're into whiskey. Let me know others like this that I could try, because I definitely want to do more of these videos. That's why I really like whiskey. There's always like some good history behind whiskey, and you learn something. And you learn more about the world through whiskey. There's more conversations to be had around whiskey than any other drink, in my opinion. That's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Slainte Mhath.